Every day we hear stories of doom and gloom about food, price hikes from floods and droughts, problems with the supply chain from COVID, lack of nutrients and beneficial biota leading to diabetes, heart attacks and dementia. It all sounds pretty miserable, so why not do something about it? The G-Biota box system allows people to have fresh vegetables growing in their home, even if they have no garden, time or gardening skills. It is a lot cheaper, but above all the quality is just so much better, full of minerals, nutrients and beneficial biota which feeds our gut brain. Our gut brain is really important. There is simply no way to be healthy without a healthy gut. It is a real brain which controls our appetite so we don't overeat on the wrong sort of food and start down the road to diabetes. It manages the complex chemicals needed to replace our body parts as they age and wear, and hosts much of our immune system. This is the way it works. It starts with a box. Any box of any size that suits. Just a small 20-litre box if you just want to grow baby greens on your windowsill, or a bigger one if you want to grow large plants. A simple irrigation fitting is installed at one end to form the swivel drain, and a piece of drainage pipe connected to distribute the water, and that is all there is to it. Now we start with food scraps from the kitchen. Food scraps are one of the crimes of the century. We just throw them into the bin where they end up as landfill, decomposing to form the worst sort of greenhouse gases. Yet they are full of nutrients which can be recycled into fresh, healthy food. Future generations will just laugh at us. Now, there can be a bit of a problem with smells and flies if they are not handled right. But if you do it yourself, there is none of these problems that occur when food scraps are left lying about for any length of time. We just fill the base of the bed with fresh food scraps. It may seem that we are overwhelmed with food scraps, but when we start to recycle them, they become a valuable commodity which is in short supply, so we may need to add other organic wastes like grass clippings. But that is not enough. We need minerals like magnesium, iron for the ladies, zinc for the men, copper, selenium, iodine, vanadium and chromium. These are readily available in volcanic rock dust, but they are still rocks that are insoluble, so we cannot absorb the minerals. For that we need microbiota, the bacteria and particularly the fungi that can dissolve the rocks. So we add Wicking Beds, which looks like and acts like soil, but is actually made by breeding beneficial microorganisms in an in-ground G-Biota bed. This is a bit more complicated, but you can buy Wicking Beds online from a licensed local grower. The bed can then be seeded and covered with a thin layer of Wicking Beds. It is that easy. Now that is fine when first setting up a G-Biota box. There will be plenty of nutrients and beneficial biota at the start, but you'll be taking these nutrients out of the bed, so after a period the soil will become old and tired. This is where the compost tube comes into play. It is simply a tube which is pushed into the soil. The soil is soft, so just a bit of wriggling and the tube will go to the bottom of the bed. The excess soil is simply cleaned out and used as a mulch, then the tube filled with fresh food waste. Food waste may be good stuff, but it attracts the tiny vinegar flies and those pesky blowers. This is why you add extra Wicking Beds on top of the food waste, so the worms and the microbes can get busy breaking the food waste down. Some people like to save up their food waste in a separate container for a few days and then put into the G-Biota box. But an alternative is to set the box up at a convenient place and just add the food waste as needed. A plug is needed to stop flies getting at the waste until they are covered. Recycling food waste makes economic and environmental sense and costs little money and is easy. Next step is to go to www.gbiota.com and get your copy of Food for Health. It is free and you just have to download.